futures.
That's right, you're watching CCS-TV. I'm Stavros Singleton, and today you're going to join me for my biggest production to date, where we go all around Jamestown and talk with nearly a dozen people about the Southern Chautauqua Federal Credit Union. So sit back, relax, try and guess where I'll pop out of next, and enjoy, because you're watching CCS-TV. Roll the clip! Welcome back to CCS-TV. I'm Stavros Singleton, and today we're going to be having some talks and mates with John Felton, the CEO of Southern Chautauqua Federal Credit Union. John, thank you so much for joining us today.
Stavros, I'm just impressed by this whole setup. I'm glad that I'm getting to know you. You're an interesting character without a doubt.
Thank you.
And thank you for giving me this opportunity.
That's awesome. Yeah, we are so excited to have some more talks about the credit union and what it means to the community and what it can become and what it is and how it started and everything.
Everything. Well, most people truly don't understand what credit unions are. We've been around forever, right? Well, maybe not forever, but a long time. And it's a co-op. It's a nonprofit agency, tax exempt because we're nonprofit. And the whole idea is that people would get together back in the late 57, I believe it was. A group of teachers at Faulkner School got together, 100 of them. And basically what they did is they pooled their money and they lent it to new teachers. It was a little more difficult for a new teacher just out of college, had a little bit of debt, hadn't really established themselves. So the school district would hire new teachers and they'd need an apartment, they would need a car, and it was a difficult situation. So the teachers got together and said, hey, there's this credit union business model out there, and basically it is that. Some people save their money and other people borrow the money. The credit union's the middleman. We manage that, right? Mm-hmm. We make sure that the people save their money, it's protected. We make sure the people that we're lending money to pay it back.
For sure. That's awesome. So SCFCU is and has always been in SC. Southern Chautauqua Federal Credit Union was started here and it has stayed here and it was conceived
Absolutely.
Here and has
and only serves.
Here.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So it started here. The original name was the 3rd Supervisory District. I don't even remember. Mm-hmm. And as the credit union began to grow, early 60s, my parents got involved in it. They were both teachers at the school. My mom was pregnant with my younger brother and decided to stop teaching, to stay home to raise myself and my older brother. My dad he was member 110, so he didn't start the group, got involved very early, saw the benefits of it. So he came on the board of directors and, as the story goes, didn't really ask my mom about this, but decided she could keep the books for the credit union because she was losing her teacher salary. And I believe it paid $5 a week back then, so you know that was a week's worth of groceries back then. Mm-hmm. So it started in Faulkner for Faulkner teachers, and it really was just the teachers group. And then they decided, hey, this is a pretty good thing, let's expand it to the support staff and family members of teachers. And then a couple other school districts decided they should jump in. So as time went on, when I really got involved in it in 1986 and 1987, it was Faulkner schools, Frewsburg schools, and Pine Valley schools. And it was for their family members and anyone on staff at the school districts. It really made a large impression on me when I got involved. Unfortunately, I had a younger brother that was dealing with cancer, so mom and dad had retired from teaching by then. They were focused on Jerry, obviously. I was working evenings at a restaurant, so I would go back to my parents' house, back to their family room that was the credit union office, and Sue would come in, and there'd be an envelope that my mom left. I gave it to Sue. Mm-hmm. And then Bob would come in, and there's an envelope for Bob. They started asking me questions. So I figured I should start answering questions. So I asked my mom a lot of questions. I did some research. I started learning about money. And I think that's why I have this passion now. We go to all the school districts that we can get into, and that's the majority of them, to tell kids, young kids, we have a program that starts in 2nd grade. It's okay to talk about money. Don't talk about somebody's salary. Talk about money. We need the great example of money being a tool that can help you build wealth. And if we can get children thinking about money, we have a great program to incentivize them to save their money. I think that we can change the culture. Right now, as I was, we're all good spenders. We're not necessarily good savers. Mm-hmm. We put a heavy focus on saving. Mm-hmm.
I remember I certainly remember all the plastic cash registers around my house.
Yes.
With the big buttons and the
Yeah.
loudspeakers that got so annoying after a while. I mean, because we do push this big focus on money to our children, as it's a very important lesson to teach them,
Yeah.
but it's how we go about that teaching of this lesson to them that is the important part, and that is what the credit union is doing.
Yes, yes. Started by teachers, focused on education. Sorry, not focused on teachers. Started by teachers and focused on education throughout the community.
So the credit union was not initially founded or started by your family, but once your father became part of it and it kind of grew its way into your family, and you started being involved, and we have you here today wearing the logo on your shirt. And so when did you take over the company, and how did it kind of fall into your hands?
It's a great question, Stravos. We, in 1998, the year my son Jack was born, I went up to a week-long seminar. And during that seminar, a gentleman by the name of Rex Johnson, who is the guru in credit union land, gave me a concept of how to truly serve your community, how credit unions were built, their policies, their decisions. Local decisioning is all about community. So that week-long school really changed my outlook. Previous to that, I remember teachers coming in. We had teachers from Pine Valley that would drive past 7 banks to get to my mom's house, and they would sit and they'd chat. It was a relationship. And they would get their car loans from us. And they would bring us their kids. You know, when it was time to buy their first car, they would, again, drive all the way down from Pine Valley, 45-minute drive, to talk to my mom. So I knew banking and relationships were very, very important. We've built our organization on relationships. So early in my career, the teachers would come in, and that was an easy loan. You get a couple forms out, you fill it out, they sign here, they sign there, they get a check, and that's done. But we'd have other people come in, some of the bus drivers, some of the cafeteria workers, the support staff that weren't compensated at the same level as some teachers, and they would be very stressed. You could read it in their body. They just weren't comfortable talking about money, talking about borrowing money. Very smart people, but money seemed to throw them off. So it didn't take me long to figure out those are the people that need us. Those are my people. These are people that I love helping out. And let me tell you, you would give somebody a $500 loan to help them out with a car repair, and they would give you a hug that you would never forget. The appreciation that was felt. So I just fell in love with that business model, relationships, helping people, serving the community. 98, went up to Rochester for the week, spent it with Rex Johnson, came back with an outlook of, here's this little credit union in my parents' house, maybe 1,000 members. I'm thinking, we have a good thing here. Let's take it. Let's change our charter. Credit unions are chartered. Let's change our charter to anyone that lives, works, worships, or attends school in Chautauqua County. So here's little Johnny Felton saying, I can compete against all the big banks. Not really knowing banking, what I did know is personal service and relationships. We expanded from them. From that time, we expanded. Our first office outside of my parents' house was over on Fairmount Avenue. It used to be Larson Advertising. It was a phenomenal building. That worked out well for us because Rick Larson's dad, who owned the building, now is our architect, and he's helped us out with 6 of our new branches. Local kid, right? Working together to better our community. We went over that branch, and naivete, right? I thought that was it. I thought, oh, we're good. Look at this building. We have 4 offices.
Yeah,
we have
brick
3
and mortar.
tellers.
Here we go.
This is
it.
Yes, I was so proud. And within 2 years, we outgrew it. We couldn't fit in there. We had parking problems. We had space problems on the inside. We were sitting on top of each other. So then that led us to buy the first true brick and mortar up in Lakewood across from the Y. And once again, I got that branch and I thought, look at this, man, this is it. But a couple years after that, we outgrew that space.
Of course.
And we've been on a path of just really good growth, but organic growth. I don't do a lot of advertising. I don't, other than out, talking to people and whatnot, we're not big advertisers. Word of mouth is what drives my business. When you have members, and we call them members because you actually join the credit union. You're not a customer to us, you're a member. And what we know is when our members do well, the organization does well. So our members tell other people about us and just bring us more and more people that are in need of help. We serve the whole spectrum. We have we have wealthy individuals, high credit scores, but we also have those families that we call ALICE families, asset limited, income constraint, employed. People that are living paycheck to paycheck. We all know what's going on in this economy. It's getting tougher and tougher to make ends meet. We understand that. We don't judge people. We dive into their whole financial picture. We help them restructure their debt, not to stretch it out and cost them more. We're not based on cash flow. We're based on saving interest. We generally can cut most people's interest rate in half and get them to be debt-free in a quicker period of time.
Wow.
Yeah, and it makes a difference to their budget. I say this often, your credit card company doesn't need all of that interest on their balance sheet. You need it in your pocket.
Yeah.
So when somebody comes in with $10,000 worth of credit card debt, we can cut the interest rate in half and save them almost $6,000. That's $6,000 back in their household budget. That's where it belongs.
100%. That's right on the money.
And then even better yet, because we are this nonprofit organization, and a lot of people think my family own it. We don't. It's a nonprofit corporation. I work for them.
Okay.
I got very lucky in life that mom and dad, got involved in it.
Yes.
I often think while I'm staring at the ceiling late at night, did my dad ever really think we would end up where we are? Could he have possibly had this vision? That he was hooking his son up with a great job, giving back to our community. I won't know that until I see him in heaven many years from now, hopefully. But I wonder about that all the time. So we're this nonprofit organization. We make money. We pay our salaries, we pay our taxes, we pay our light bills, all that stuff. And then we give about $100,000 a year to other nonprofit agencies who are struggling as well. And on top of that, we spend about $250,000 a year. We have 4 branches in high schools run by our people teaching financial education to young adults. Again, the idea is let's start talking about money as a tool. Let's start recognizing that consumption is a problem. Living within your means is important. Let's recognize that debt is truly bad. And there's some debt that's worse than other debt. Not many people can save up to buy a car. That's a necessity. Not many people could save up to buy their house. That's a necessity. But we're non-judgmental. We understand sometimes bad things happen to good people. We're really trying to teach people that vacations should be saved for, not financed. That you need to build a safety net. We like to teach small habits, segregation of your money, so that when your paycheck comes in, it automatically is segregated. I know that I always have the money for my bills because it goes into a checking account that's just to pay my bills. My second checking account that has my debit card, that's my money for gas, that's my money for entertainment, and it's very easy to never overspend because there's not my mortgage payment sitting in that same account. And then we can have actually 99 sub-accounts. So I like to golf, so I have a little sub-account. I put $10 every pay that goes in there.
Put that on the golf card.
Yes. And then when I want to buy a new driver, the money is there.
There you go.
I have a vacation savings account. I have all kinds of different savings accounts because segregation of your funds is one of the most important steps to building wealth. And I believe we can build wealth in Chautauqua County. We're the 10th poorest county. Some people say we're the poorest. There's different reports out there. We are a poor county. And I believe we can change that. And the way we have to change that is education, but not only education, a financial institution that's willing to take the risk of somebody who on paper doesn't look all that good. You know, these things called credit scores, which are a horrible, horrible predictor of success. They might not look good on paper, but when you talk to them, when you understand them, when you get their story, when you see that they're ready to make a change in their life and live within their means, I'm thrilled that we're that place that helps them do that. It's a hand up, not a handout.
My brother was giving me a hard time. I was asking him some questions about my credit score the other day, and he was like, "Didn't you take personal finance?" I was like, "No, I took accounting." He was like, "Okay," and we were laughing our.
And a credit score is like the lifelong test, right? So if you don't know what makes up your credit score, how do you know to make the right decisions to build that credit score?
Yes.
So many people, capacity on your credit cards is it's almost a third of your score. And capacity is a very simple calculation. How much credit card debt could I have, and how much do I have? Some people are conservative, and they'll tell their credit card companies, only give me a $1,000 line of credit. And the credit card company will say, we'd like to give you $5,000 or $10,000. Nope, I'm conservative.
Don't do that.
Give me $1,000. And then they go and spend $750. That's 75% of their capacity, and their credit score just went down. You think you're making a right choice by being conservative, but in all actuality, what you want to do is never use any more than 10 to 15% of the potential capacity of your credit card. Now, there are some places that will say you could go to 30%. I'm that conservative guy. I keep it at 10, maybe 15%. So if there is a catastrophe, the engine blows in my car, happened about 6 years ago, then I could use my credit card if I didn't have my own safety net, the savings account. So we teach these simple strategies to help people make sure that they have that good credit score. Good credit score, everything costs a little bit less when it comes to financing. A lower credit score, everything costs more.
That's great. John, I learned something new today. I did not know that.
Well, good.
Here I was thinking, oh yeah, just keep some cash sitting over under the mattress or whatever for when your engine blows or what have you. But I did not know this about the capacity of a credit card. Thank you.
One of our staff, we do what's called credit builder loans, and we'll do that for kids generally starting around age 16 if they've got a part-time job. We'll do credit builder loans for them. We have had people graduate from JHS, where you graduated from. That's one of the places we have one of our school-based branches. We've had students graduate with a 700 credit score. You don't really get a credit score until you're 18, but you can upload the information from previous to that, and boom, instead of coming out with no score, they came out with a 700 or a 650, which is an outstanding score. But more important, they came out with a habit, and they came out with knowledge. Those two things are very powerful things.
That's awesome. So we have 6 branches going right now.
We do.
Is that 6th one the new one on Main Street that's a work in progress?
So I always have to use my fingers for this. We're in Clymer. We're in Lakewood. Our corporate office is across from the mall. We're in Jamestown, down towards Faulkner. We're in Cherry Creek. We are in Dunkirk, the old Bob Evans building. We bought that a few years ago, doing great.
Right.
So actually, 811 North Main, kind of down near Love School,
is going
to be the 7th.
Wow.
Yes.
And you said you were in 4 high schools.
4 schools, Jamestown, Frewsburg, Faulkner, and Southwestern.
That's awesome. Okay, so let's call that 11.
Okay.
Right?
I'll take it.
Wait.
4 and 7-Eleven, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yep.
11 branches around the county, and you want to grow. How long do you think you're going to be in Main Street building, and where do you see the credit union in 5 years? Do we want to be at 15 branches, 20 branches? Or do we want to go down to Pennsylvania or something?
Great questions, because credit unions, again, you have these charters, and I have boundaries, Chautauqua County, and we are considering whether or not we look outside of Chautauqua County. We think that we've got a really good formula to help people, so why limit it to just Chautauqua County?
Yes.
We don't have that totally mapped out, but that's one of the things my board of directors discusses on a regular basis. Our board of directors are volunteers. They come and have to spend 2 hours with me every second Tuesday of the month and hear all about John's dreams and what we want to do and everything. I don't know why they do it. They're just really good people that believe in giving back, right? So do we want to have 15 branches? If that's what we need. Do we want to not have any more branches? If we can still help people, that's fine. In credit unions, most credit unions measure your success by your assets. I measure our success by the number of members we have. And we have about 22,000 members, twice as many as the average credit union. We're about 165 million in assets. Typically, they would only have about 10 to 11,000 members. Members make us successful, and we make our members successful. Where are we going to be? I don't know. I'm on my 3.5-year plan for my exit strategy. Hopefully, I'm going to be on a golf course or a beach. But the next person that will come
funding that
in,
golf cart.
absolutely, yeah, all right, yeah.
That's awesome.
The next person that comes in, the most important thing to me is that they understand our dedication to education and assisting struggling families.
100% for sure. That's
Need the right leadership.
You really do.
No doubt. Yeah.
Because who knows where they're going to be in 5 years? Where am I going to be in 5 years? Where would 5 years ago, if I were to tell myself, well, look, this is what you're doing right now.
Yeah.
Sitting down with John Felton in CCS.
Yep.
I would have been like, rewind.
Yeah.
But your plan for the credit union is to give back to the community and to grow with the community as much as possible.
See, you learned more than one thing today.
There we go.
That is exactly what the plan is. And however we do that, because the landscape changes. 5 years ago, I would have never thought everyone was banking on their phone, right? 5 years ago, Chime did not exist, right? So as a small institution, we have to figure out how to serve our people locally, giving them a person to go and talk to if something goes wrong, but we also have to give that instant transfer of money. We have to provide everything that the fintechs do, and those are developed by multi-billion-dollar companies, right? So I have to figure out how to do all of that, including stablecoin and Bitcoin, and do that with personal service, with people. We're all about people helping people. That's really the heart of the credit union. Being able to give back to our community at the level that we do is extraordinarily meaningful to us. It's been a fun journey. 3 more years, 3.5 more years, we'll turn it over to somebody else.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Well, John, thank you so much for joining us today here on CCS-TV. We are honored to have you, and we look forward to for what's to come with this new building and any new projects that we got going on, and the partnership with the credit union and CCS here.
Thank you. Thank you. We believe 811 North Main is going to be one of our best branches. That's a very important neighborhood in Jamestown. We believe, just like our Jamestown branch sparked some other economic development, we're hoping to spark some more economic development down in the north part of the city.
That's awesome.
So,
well, I am looking forward to it, and I am looking forward to getting some cameras there.
All right.
And we will have you down there with a hard hat on.
There you go.
Well, I'm joined by John Felton here at the North Main Street building. John, what do you think about this construction? How's it going?
Yeah. Stavros, thank you.
Thank you, John.
Enjoyed it.
It's a pleasure meeting with you
Thank
today.
you.
This has been Community Conversation here on CCS-TV. I'm Stavros Singleton, and that was John Felton. We'll see you very shortly.
We'll see you very shortly.
Talking with John was great. Next up, I'm taking you inside the Frewsburg Junior Senior High School to speak with Edith Parker about what it's like inside the school branches of the credit union. Take it away, Edith. We are here with Edith Parker at Frewsburg Junior Senior High School to talk about the Southern Chautauqua Federal Credit Union and about her experience working with the credit union and in the school branch, and her story and how it came to be and everything she's been a part of over the years. So Edith, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
So firstly, I want to hear about your story. What happened to result in you sitting in front of the Southern Chautauqua Federal Credit Union sign and behind my camera today?
Well, I started with the credit union in 2017. I learned about the school-based branch program that started in March of 2017 and was intrigued by it. I started at the Southwestern branch in the beginning of the school year 2018-2019 and got to help with learning more about the program and developing the program. We teach students financial literacy and workforce readiness. They get the opportunity to come in, learn more about the credit union from the backside, what it's like to work as a teller, what it's like to work for a credit union. We also talk about financial literacy. We teach them how to manage their money, how to make smart money choices, how to build their credit scores, help them to be more smart with spending and saving. So I've really enjoyed working with the students, getting to see them learn and develop, good money skills, good workforce skills, and they enjoy the program.
That is super awesome. So I'm especially curious, what is, like, if you could say, if there's one moment or instance in if there's one moment or instance of, I need the noun. If there's one moment or instance of something amazing happening during your time here at the Frewsburg branch, some impactful story or something that just hasn't left your mind in your time here.
I think my favorite part of the whole program is when the kids get excited about something that they learned with us in one of our branches, and they get really excited and come in and tell us about how they've used it in their own life to be more successful, or how they've shared it with somebody else and seen them be more successful. That's probably my favorite part, is seeing real life usage of what they learn with us.
Mm-hmm. I bet, because like taking it off, with a plan on paper, it's cool, but then to put it into practice and see it go into motion, see it change students' lives is gotta be.
I've watched kids go from being someone who can't hold on to a penny to being excellent with spending and making the right choices with, I have one of my first interns was able to go from being that student who struggled to understand how to save or how to just keep money and manage it, to being able to get loans and very successful with them and making the right choices later in life. So it's very rewarding to see them do that.
That's awesome. So I know that there's credit union branches in a lot of the high schools around the area, but I'm unfamiliar with them. And I guess I'm not really sure how they work, or how the plan works, or how the steps go. Could you walk me through that process?
Sure. We have 4 local branches, 4 branches in local high schools: Jamestown High School, Southwestern, Frewsburg, and Faulkner. We have a student account program for our high schoolers, grades 9 through 12. It starts in 9th grade. They can have a savings account on their own without somebody else on the account. In 10th grade, we add the checking account with a school-branded debit card. Each one of the schools has their own co-branded debit card. 11th grade, we start talking to them about building credit. We have a credit builder program that they can take advantage of, where they can take out a small loan, make 6 monthly payments, and start building credit. Both in 11th and 12th grade, they continue it through there to help them start off their adult life with an actual credit score and being able to build that.
That's awesome. What are the yearly saving goals for 9th through 12th grade?
We don't have specific saving goals with the student account program. That would be part of our kids' credit union program. But with the high school accounts, with the student accounts, we do encourage them to segregate their money and put some in savings, keep some for their spending, and try to make the right choices with it so that they're setting themselves up for success later in life.
Awesome. Yeah, I guess now I understand the difference between the high school savings program and the difference between the kids' credit union. Cool, thank you. Earlier you mentioned intern and interns here at the Frewsburg branch of the credit union?
Yes, so part of our school-based branch program is we have an internship for our juniors and seniors. They have the ability to come in and work with us. It's a workforce readiness piece where we teach them how to be a good employee, what it's like to work for the credit union. We also teach them financial literacy, so we dig a little deeper in about each one of the topics, maybe some of the things that they're concerned about later in life. We give them the basics with saving and spending, learning what a credit score is, what it's like to manage credit, those kinds of things. They are given the opportunity to earn a stipend with us. So throughout the time they have requirements, they do volunteer work, they have a certain number of hours that they have to work with us. I have one of my interns with me here today. This is Tegan Desario. Do you want to tell them a little bit about your experience with the credit union?
So I started with the credit union this year, my junior year. I first heard about it last year through one of my friends interning, and I thought it would be a super cool experience to learn many new topics and really get an experience of being in a credit union before I have to go into the workforce. So I applied to have an internship here, and I sent my application in to Mrs. Parker, and then after we sat down and we had an interview, and she ran through what the expectations were with me and what I should expect out of this, and I thought it would still be a super cool experience, and she said, well, we've done what we need to do and you're in. So I started here in October of 2025, and I have been with ever since. Loved every single moment of it. I think being in this room helps me really truly understand people in general, like working with people. I think that's a super, super important skill to have. I also learn more money readiness for the future. I don't think that I would have known half the stuff I do about being ready and how to save if I didn't work here. And I also love sharing my experiences with my friends of how to do certain things, of how to, hey, let's save this amount instead of spending. And my friends all enjoy when I give them little money tips that I've learned. Makes me happy, it makes them happy, it makes everyone. And I think that is a super important skill.
I've really enjoyed having Tegan. She embraces everything that we learn and asks lots of wonderful questions. She's helped me learn more. All of my interns help me learn more because they ask questions and we learn together. So part of the reason why this program is so successful is because we partner with the local high school and we have amazing liaisons that help to support us and help us through the process.
My name is Sarah Olson. I am the Robert H. Jackson Elementary School principal and one of the liaisons for the branch.
I'm Jennifer Armella. I'm the Frewsburg High School principal.
I've been in Frewsburg for 4 years. I did not know there were school-based branches until I came to Frewsburg and have enjoyed learning all that they offer, both in the middle school, high school, giving those kids the real-life experience to fill out applications and interview, all while still feeling supported right here at school. And then in addition, learning how they can become more financially literate and just preparing them for life and starting to save. The branch is amazing. They will co-teach with classroom teachers to help promote financial literacy. They have been in our middle school, 7th and 8th grade classrooms for math, helping. They will go in and do economics lessons with our high school students, in addition to just personal finance classes. So having them as a resource that can supplement what the kids are learning in the classroom makes it, again, that real life connection so they can see the value in where things will go down the road. And I do think having Mrs. Parker in the school, she's a great resource and advocate for the kids. They seek her out to ask questions of, you know, if I want to do this down the road, can you help me get there? So having them housed right here in the middle school, high school is absolutely amazing. And we are very, very fortunate to have that. We did this year, I've actually kind of been the one bugging John and Jim to get Kids Credit Union up and running more. Back when I taught, we had the program years ago in a neighboring district, and so now being in the elementary, we started those conversations again. So that program is super exciting. It gets younger students as young as second grade, so 7 and 8 years old, starting to realize the value of money and how to start saving. And they have a great program where they help. So we're very excited. We are going to start with Jim and John next year promoting the Kids Credit Union, which is a returning program for them, where kids as young as second grade can start learning the power of their money. If they deposit within that second grade year $200, they'll get a 10% return in the way the bank will then utilize like a CD and have that continue to get compound interest and grow throughout the kids' whole time at Frewsburg. So then when they go to graduate, they could have almost $10,000 if they continue along their path of deposits every year. So with the state's new push of getting more financial literacy, having them come in and help supplement our instruction and getting them in with our younger students, we are so excited to see where we can go and where we can get our kiddos to leave Frewsburg School with the financial power and the knowledge to be successful down the road. So as part of getting this up and running, we are excited that this June we'll be meeting with our first graders to get them excited and get them learning that they should be saving over the summer with all that spare change they find, in the hopes that when we start back in the fall and the bank comes in, they'll be ready to go and have deposits set and excited. So just so excited to get this program up and running again.
Class dismissed. We'll be having a quiz on the Southern Chautauqua Federal Credit Union, so make sure you know how many branches the credit union has and how many of those are in the schools. There's bonus points available if you can name the schools. You are welcome to help your classmates down in the comments below if you have your answers. Okay, enough horsing around. Is what I would say if we weren't going to Forest Acres next to chat with Dina Garfield. Welcome back to CCS-TV. I'm Stavros Sealington, and today we're here with Dina from Forest Acres to talk about the Southern Chautauqua Federal Credit Union, and specifically their Kids Credit Union program, and how it has helped her and her family. Dina, yes. Thank you for joining us today. We're so glad to have you.
Hi, thank you for coming, Stavros.
Thank you. So, there is a horse just out of frame, and it's just chilling over there. Would you care to tell us a little bit about Forest Acres and what it is, and
Sure.
why we are 10 feet from a horse?
I'm really glad that you asked that question and came out here today, because I just had a session with a person that came. We do one-on-one sessions here at Forest Acres. At Forest Acres here in Jamestown, we have people come in all the time to interact with the horses, and it helps regulate their nervous system. It's all for mental health and leadership skills too. And we have a horse over here named Kiki, and Mr. B is out in the pasture still. But I think Kiki's coming in to get some hay, and maybe she'll come over.
Awesome, that'd be really cool.
Mm-hmm.
So if we get interrupted, we won't. We'll just give her some little pets and say, "Hey, how's it going?"
Mm-hmm.
Ask her opinions on the credit union. We'll see what she thinks. Anyways, so you have 2 children who both have accounts in the Kids Credit Union, and who have both graduated with accumulated savings. Yes?
That's right.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So, yourself personally, how long have you been a member of the Southern Chautauqua Federal Credit Union?
Ooh, I've been a member for over 20 years. Both of my children started with the Kids Credit Union when they were in kindergarten, and just little steps added up. The first year we put away $100 when they were in kindergarten to the Kids Credit Union, and then the next year it's 100 more, so 200. So little by little it adds up, and then by the time they graduate, they have $10,000.
That's awesome. So, where did you get the idea to start the kids' credit union accounts for them and to start saving for the kids?
This is, well, first my children learned about it in school. They both went to Southwestern Central School, and someone from the credit union came into the school and taught the kids about it. It was a really great program because the kids learned how to save money and to look ahead to the future and to see where their money could take them and how it could grow over time. The interest rate was really great for that. So my son, I remember my son coming home. He's younger than my daughter. He came home and he was so excited because he was always Mr. Businessman. Even in kindergarten, he had to wear a button-down shirt and say that he was a business owner. So it really helped solidify saving for the kids.
Awesome. I love that. That's really funny. So every deposit into the account, was it the same amount every time? Is it $100 every time, every year? Is it, or
It's different.
okay?
It increases by $100 at each grade level.
Uh-huh.
So in kindergarten, the first deposit is 100, or the first year has to accumulate to 100.
Okay.
And then in first grade, they'll add in 200 over the year. And then in second grade, it'll be 300 throughout the year. So each year, the accumulation increases by $100, but the interest rate was so great that by the time they graduated, they would have the $10,000.
Thank you for explaining that.
Sure.
I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
So with the credit union, the kids' credit union account, and your son's little button-up shirt, you were able to teach him about the importance of saving and about the importance of putting money aside that isn't doing anything to have it grow and grow and grow more.
Mm-hmm. Well, when what was really great about it is it was a way for the kids to track. It taught them how to save, and actually as a parent, I had been teaching them all along. They save some, they spend some, and they also give some to the community. And the Southern Chautauqua Federal Credit Union is really amazing in our community. They're always reaching out and supportive of everything in the community, you name it. And it really shows with devotion. People in the community really appreciate all the effort that John and his team give to the community. And my children have carried this. After they graduated, they cashed out their $10,000, and they were able to carry this through into adulthood. So it was a really great lesson that they could track it. I think that it was important to think about how small deposits can add up over time, and to let the kids see that with the structure of the monthly statements. They would love to open their mail from the credit union. That was like a highlight every month, and so that they could track. So I wanted to show you this because this is a plastic piggy bank that each of my children used. They would use either their birthday money when they were younger, or like gifts for Christmas, first communion, whatever, and they would save some, spend some, and give some to charity. But they each had this green plastic piggy bank, and now this one is for my daughter's first baby. She's having a baby in August. So John set this aside for me to start saving for that baby. So this is a new generation. It's already got some money in there. The new generation and the baby is going to be a boy.
That's awesome. Plastic's all shiny still. It's all
no scratches. Nobody's tried to get the money out yet, but there's $70 ready to start really the
cool
account.
Man, that's so awesome. I love that.
Mm-hmm. And this is how community banking should be, I think. When you get the whole family in, and when a credit union goes to the school and has a program at a school to teach the children, it's so important, because a lot of schools don't have a program. They don't teach financial responsibility. So for a credit union to come into the school and do that made a huge impact.
I hope you guys enjoyed hearing from Dina. Up next, we're gonna go all around and we're gonna have some help from my good buddy Will, my new friend Dawson, to chat with even more people in Chautauqua County about how the Southern Chautauqua Federal Credit Union works with their business. So stay tuned. You're watching CCS-TV.
My name's Amy Roller, and I'm the Executive Director of United Way of Chautauqua County. And our mission is to mobilize the community to help every person and family improve their lives. And we've been partnering with Southern Chautauqua Federal Credit Union in a lot of different ways over the years. And they're just an extremely community-minded institution. They put their money where their mouth is, which is maybe a good joke for a financial institution like a credit union. And so some of the ways that we've partnered over the years, they run an employee campaign for United Way. And so that means they allow their employees to give out of their paychecks to our annual fundraising campaign. And last year they had 100% participation. So every employee opted to do just a little bit for United Way, and collectively they raised about $7,500 for us.
100%.
Yeah.
Wow.
Which is great because what it means is that when we went in to talk about United Way, 100% of their employees saw the vision, saw the impact of what we do, and they were like, we want to be a part of that. Mm-hmm. So that's been a great partnership over the years. We've used on a variety of occasions their training center, which is free to nonprofits in the community. We've used it for roundtables with all of the nonprofits. We frequently gather the nonprofits to learn from them, to do some problem solving strategy sessions together, and they've been so hospitable with that space. There's a program that they're extremely support. Southern Chautauqua Federal Credit Union is very supportive. It's a United Way program run by the Resource Center called InvestU. And what InvestU does is it takes individuals that are sometimes struggling in a variety of ways, and they put them in a cohort, and along the way they learn about many different aspects of our community. And a part of it is financial literacy, a part of it is community issues and government issues, and it's a way to really build their capacity. And Southern Chautauqua Federal Credit Union has been a very strong supporter and partner of that program. And I know has often, upon graduation, so all of the InvestU participants graduate, has been able to kind of offer them some sort of special rewards through the credit union that maybe they wouldn't have had access to otherwise. And I think John Felton has attended probably every graduation of every InvestU cohort since most likely its inception. One thing that comes out really clearly for me whenever I interact with someone from Southern Chautauqua Federal Credit Union, when I see John in the community, is their heart for people who are struggling. Southern Chautauqua Federal Credit Union does taxes for their members who qualify. They have a VITA program. They shape products and services for people who are sometimes at risk or are struggling to make ends meet. They really understand their members and their employees, and they do everything they can to kind of help reduce those barriers for them and overcome some of those challenges. We did something called the Alice Experience with Southern Chautauqua Federal Credit Union. That's a workshop that we've done for many different employers, many different entities, whether they're financial institutions or local business or government or school districts. And it's really designed to help people both understand and empathize with the challenges that ALICE families face. And ALICE is an acronym that stands for Asset Limited, Income Constrained, Employed. And in Chautauqua County, 46% of all households are in that position. So there's a lot of us that are struggling financially and maybe sometimes one emergency away from a pretty terrible crisis. We did the ALICE experience not just with Southern Chautauqua Federal Credit Union leadership or managers, but we did it with every employee. And so I think it was 75 employees, that we were able to do this with. And they also then began to change some of the ways that they served not just their employees, some of whom are ALICE, their members, some of whom are ALICE. They really began to think about how they could better serve that group. And it really shaped, I think, a lot of their own internal and external kind of communication and culture as well. And one of our goals at United Way is to do what we can to reduce those challenges that ALICE families face, because they're sometimes a forgotten demographic because they are working, but still struggling in financial, and there's not as many supports and services and programs as there are for people who are in poverty.
When I spoke with Felton down at the CCS studio, he did say that Chautauqua County was one of the poorest counties in the state. But to hear you give that figure of 46% is quite eye-opening.
Well, there's 55,000 households in Chautauqua County, and if 46% of them are ALICE, you're looking at nearly half. And there's a lot of reasons for that, and that's one of the reasons we do the ALICE experience, is to unpack that, but also to work on solutions together as well, or at least do some ideating about what we as a particular business or school district or individual, what we can do within our sphere of influence to reduce some of those barriers. And Southern Chautauqua Federal Credit Union really has taken that sort of concept of serving ALICE families to heart. And they've incorporated it into how they serve their employees, the kinds of benefits they offer, and how they serve their members, their 20,000 members that they have. And they've been a great partner in that sort of larger community work around ALICE. If I had to say just one thing about the difference that Southern Chautauqua Federal Credit Union makes, it's that they really think outside the box. And so this willingness to think innovatively and creatively is one of the things that I think sets them apart. I've worked together with John Felton on a number of projects. He served on our finance committee at United Way for a number of years. He's been an allocations volunteer for us. And so what that means is we raise this money every year, and how we discern how we're going to invest it is through the community involvement. And so we have volunteers that we put on panels, and they help us decide whether or not an agency will get funding and to what level. John has served on the allocations volunteers since before I started at United Way. So he has always been someone who volunteers his time, gives back. He's on the board of several of our agencies that we support, and is just a real advocate for the nonprofits.
I'm Denise Jones, the Chief Executive Officer of the Resource Center. I do know when John first became engaged with us, he learned that we are a membership organization, and he very quickly provided membership to his staff at the credit union, and they actually became involved in membership. I'll never forget the one of our annual meetings, seeing members of his team sitting in the audience at our annual membership meeting. He also supports our SAFER program, which is a staff assistance program for our employees and the people that we support, and really provides that referral source for people that may have been unbanked or not able to be banked in the community. From my perspective, the role that John has played is that he really sees a big picture, and he has the vision to make things happen. He can see how there's interconnectivity between maybe a different not-for-profit organization or the credit union itself, and how the credit union can really support some of the needs in the community along with other providers. So he can work to convene the groups together that can make things happen.
Okay. And finally, why would you recommend partnering with John Felton and his team to other organizations looking to make a difference in Chautauqua County?
John and his team are really all about the community. They really do care about the community. They have their fingers on the pulse of what's going on with our community and the people in our community, and really that heart and desire to make the Chautauqua County a wonderful place to live, work, and play. What sets John apart is that it's about his heart, his ability to see the big picture, and he doesn't just give money. He gives his time, his support, and really engages with people.
So how did you come to know John Felton and the Southern Chautauqua Federal Credit Union?
So I actually got to know John before I started at the Chamber. I was doing a little bit of hobby woodworking, and John had seen my stuff and reached out, wanted some custom Southern Chautauqua branded items. And after I started at the Chamber, started asking John kind of, hey, you ever think about the Chamber? Is the credit union interested? And we've been able to work together from there.
Awesome. So have you and John ever worked together either on a board, a project in the community, or in an opportunity of professional collaboration?
Yes, so John joined the Chamber of Commerce board a year or two after they started getting active, and he's was willing to join our executive committee and currently serves as the organization's treasurer. So John Felton really embodies Southern Chautauqua Federal Credit Union in everything he does, and that isn't just physically embodying a company. He also embodies the membership of the credit union and the communities where the credit union is present all across Chautauqua County in the way that he serves, and just tries to better the community through his position, his abilities, and the resources of the credit union. Getting to know John when I was still really young in my role here at the Chamber, it's really my first company leadership role. John gave me a number of really good pieces of advice, but one piece that has kind of stuck with me is this idea that when you're in a leadership position like that, you always have to be focused and spending time working on the organization that you are in charge of, not just working in the organization in the day-to-day. And that's always been a really good reminder of keeping the strategic long-term goals in mind. As an organization, I would say the credit union has been really involved since they joined, and again, I think that's been because of John's passion for the Chamber and our mission and what we do, and certainly his encouragement of their staff and their team to become involved. But it extends, of course, beyond people participating in things from the credit union, attending events and supporting us that way, but also becoming our first Keystone sponsor this year of the Chamber. Many across the county, of course, the credit union sponsors and helps financially. And as we revised our sponsorship tiers, they were the first ones to come in at that Keystone level, which we greatly appreciate.
That's great. So what role do you feel John has played to strengthen relationships between businesses, nonprofits, or the business community?
So let me think about that for a second. John has really played this critical role, sometimes behind the scenes as much as it is out in front of creating those connections and serving our community. And where I've seen that is through his volunteer board service. As I mentioned, he became involved at the Chamber and agreed to join the board and join the executive committee and help guide our organization in that way. John and I serve together on our Jamestown Noon Rotary Club board of directors, and I know there's a list of other organizations that he either volunteers with, serves on the board of, and all those things. And it's really been a great way, I think, for that service to allow John to tie so many of us together through his previous interactions, things he's hearing at other meetings, and it really helps to rise the tide for everybody that he's involved with.
All right. So why would you recommend partnering with John Felton and his team to other organizations looking to make a difference in Chautauqua County?
I think I would recommend it back to my earlier comments about the way that John represents the credit union and what really drives, I think, maybe John's involvement and his passion, which of course loops in the credit union as a whole. And that's that mindset that's just genuine care for our community and how he can use his skill set, his expertise, the resources of Southern Chautauqua Federal Credit Union to better Chautauqua County as a whole, and that's a really noble approach.
My name is Larry Fiorella. I'm a Fredonia resident. I've been back in the area for 20 years now. I'm a financial advisor with HBKS Wealth Advisors. I'm also the co-president for the Festivals Fredonia organization, a nonprofit organization that hosts 6 festivals throughout the year.
Neat. Okay, let's get into it. How did you come to know John Felton and the Southern Chautauqua Federal Credit Union?
Well, I was introduced to John probably back in 2020 by a mutual friend, his longtime partner, Amy Piper. That's how we initially got introduced to one another. And then he knew I was very involved with the community, so he wanted to get me more involved with the credit union. At the time, I couldn't. So it took us a few years, but we ended up meeting with one another at a local restaurant with another board member from the credit union. And the ironic thing is they thought I was my cousin. We share the same name, and John's cousin, I believe, was the one who worked with my cousin at a local restaurant back in the 80s. So when we first met, they didn't know who I was, which was kind of ironic. But yeah, that's how I got to know John. So we've known each other for probably the better of 6 or 7 years now.
Very neat, yeah. I know Amy pretty well. I'm good friends with her kids and we went on vacation a little bit. But have you and John ever worked together either on a board, a project in the community, or in an opportunity of professional collaboration?
All three. And it first started with my involvement with Festivals Fredonia. That's how John came to know me, through my involvement with Festivals Fredonia when I was president. Now I'm co-president of the organization. And then John asked me to be on the board 4+ years ago for the credit union, so I joined the board then. And now he's actually collaborating. Southern Chautauqua Federal Credit Union is collaborating with Festivals Fredonia, and their generosity is enabling us to do more things in the community with our events that we hold, our 5 festivals for the year. And then finally, because of my work, I'm a financial advisor with HBKS Wealth Advisors. Southern Chautauqua Federal Credit Union became a client of mine as a result of that as well.
Sounds like you guys have built a strong relationship over the years then.
Yeah, it's been very mutually beneficial for everybody.
Symbiotic then, eh?
Mm-hmm.
In your experience, what sets John apart when it comes to supporting community initiatives or local organizations?
John's focus is on the community and has been that way ever since his mother started the credit union, and then he took over the leadership years ago. So he's got a very strong bond with the community, and that helped with us, Festivals Fredonia, and our relationship with the credit union, knowing that we were doing so many good things in the Fredonia community. They also wanted some kind of presence in the northern part of the county, and that led to the development of the old Bob Evans restaurant on Vineyard and 60 into one of their only, I think it's their only, North County location. When I joined the board, he wanted to have someone that had some local representation for the northern Chautauqua County area, and it just seemed like a good fit for me to join the board and get them more familiar with Festivals Fredonia as well.
Very neat. So you're a big part in that branch being set up here.
I would say a smaller part. I mean, it was being developed when I joined the board, so that was I think that was the primary goal of having me join the board, is have that northern Chautauqua County presence for the credit union.
Can you share a specific example of how John or the SCFCU has made a meaningful impact on your organization or projects?
Sure. A few years ago, we spoke one-on-one about how the credit union could impact and benefit from getting more involved with the Fredonia community and that was through Festivals Fredonia. So they have become a very generous donor and sponsor throughout the year for not just the Festivals Fredonia organization overall, but then the individual events as well. They'll sponsor us overall, but then they'll sponsor individual events or sub-events inside those events themselves.
Neat. What role do you feel John has played in strengthening relationships between business, nonprofits, or business community?
John is very involved with the community through the credit union. So he always brings the credit union with him when he's engaging with the community, whether it be the residents or the organizations that he supports. So, and he's very deliberate on how he gets involved with the community. And he very much enjoys it. So he carries that belief system, that ideology of the credit union and serving the community to the organizations he supports throughout the year, like Festivals Fredonia.
Amazing. And lastly, why would you recommend partnering with John Felton and his team to other organizations looking to make a difference in Chautauqua County?
John and his team at the credit union have the same philosophy, and that is serving the public before serving anything else, and serving it in a way that lifts those community members up, whether it be financially or philosophically, you know, those types of things. He carries that belief system with him, and it's easy for him to translate that into the public and into the community so that the community responds in a positive way back to him.
Amazing. All right, well, thank you for your time.
Yeah,
Appreciate
thank
it.
you. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
What? That's time already? Well, I guess we have heard quite a lot from quite a few people. Thank you for watching to the end of the video. If you enjoyed the video, please be sure to like, subscribe, share this video to anybody who you think would enjoy it, or anybody who you think has questions about the Southern Chautauqua Federal Credit Union. If you're having a kid, get them signed up for a kid's credit union account. If you're in school, join the Student Savers Program. Otherwise, go check out the Southern Chautauqua Federal Credit Union because they're pretty awesome. Thank you to everybody who helped out making this video. I've been Stavros Singleton. You're watching CCS-TV.